Seafood is good for you. In the future, you will eat a lot of cucumber stew, and you will have jellyfish. What we know about the ocean's past is it's a history of gold mining. We have fished down the food webs of the oceans. I've been involved for 10 years in the history of marine animal populations project, and we try to unravel the history of the sea. We try to understand what happened to those fish, those whales, when we took them out. Well, we ate them, of course, but when did we do it? Well, in the 10th century, something dramatic happened all over Northern Europe. Suddenly, we were starting to eat marine fish because the rivers had already been depleted. So that's coming up from the archaeology. When we study the historical records, we know now that we reached the total allowable catches for the North Sea herring by 1870. And we have still been wondering whatever happened to the oceans. Well, we took out one species after another. First one to go was sturgeon, which was depleted out of the North Sea by the 1890s. By 1914, the Hamburg fish auction no longer had them. The oyster banks, not only of Dublin Bay, but of all over Northern Europe, were depleted around about the same time, before the First World War, really before industrial fishing really hit hard. We already had taken them out. The big fish, of course, of high economic value, they are critically important for reproduction in the ocean ecosystems, and we basically took them out. We hit them first because we love them. We see that in the North Sea, the cod population, what's happened to it? Well, it's down to 1/6 of cod stock biomass relative to where we were in 1872. It's happened that fast, and we know now how fast it happens. Southeast Australia, we have wonderful documentation from the very first industrial fisheries, round about the First World War. Only 20 years later, the whole ecosystem had changed, and we were looking at a regime shift. The North-East Atlantic, we have the same situation. The Northwest Atlantic, we're looking at the same. We've come down from 1.2 million tons of biomass of cod to 100,000. And we are now pushing the limits in the southern Pacific. We're going for the orange roughy because it's delicious. It can be marketed all over the world. It's wonderful, but hurry, because soon they will no longer be there. And it's because now we have technology that in one vessel will take out equivalent of the entire Dutch herring fleet of the mid-17th century. 50,000 tons was reckoned to build the Amsterdam on herringbones. Now we are looking at returns which are constantly declining. Profitability is declining on a centennial scale, but we are still pushing up the limit in terms of technology. And how we can do it? Well, we shift the world biodiversity from the southern oceans to the northern hemisphere. World fish trade has increased dramatically in the last 30, 40 years. We're simply buying into the biodiversity of the southern oceans, and it's thanks to people out there in the new industrial cities around the globe, in China, in Thailand, in Malaysia, and it's also thanks to the development of those large buggers in the open oceans, because they are not regulated. There is no global regulatory system that will actually keep them in place, so they can go there wherever it's possible. We are being told all the time that it's healthy to eat seafood, and of course it is, so the seafood market is just developing rapidly. We are eating the ocean ecosystems very rapidly, an endless demand, weak global environmental politics, ever more powerful technologies, hitting a finite resource. So will a global sustainable fisheries policy even be conceivable in this century? The Japanese think we should take out the whales. That would mean there would be more fish for us. So that's one possible way of looking at solving the global fisheries crisis. Of course, we don't all agree. We need to make some hard choices. We need to develop a political system that will actually handle this, but at the end of the day, it's you as a consumer who make the hard choices whenever you go to the greengrocer or go to your sushi. Thank you.